whole new. All right, we'll get started. Let some people filter in here. But one of the requests was going over Viking Therapeutics. Actually, let me go to the press release, or sorry, the article from that was on Seeking Alpha. We got, let's see, Viking Therapeutics gains amid takeover speculation. It's not up much. Okay. Yep. It was funny is that was one, if that might, Pfizer being the potential suitor makes sense. Actually writing up a report for Pfizer and their earnings report, it's taking me a while. It's just sometimes writing up earnings for the big pharma, obviously big pharma and all the dividend stocks. Sometimes it can be a real slog to get through all that just because they have so many products. And yeah, it's great to just go over what the segments are doing, pharmaceuticals, animal health, healthcare technology. These big pharmas are really just giant healthcare tickers now that have so many segments and industries that they're in. Yeah, it's nice to get the really easy digestible numbers to see how the segments are doing, but when you're really trying to figure out what's going to be the new leader for, especially for Pfizer as the COVID fades and Ibrance is not doing as well anymore, and a few other, kind of flagship products aren't exactly doing great. Yeah, I mean, Eliquis is doing all right, and there's a few other things coming on. They just closed Seagen, but, these guys are still very much molecular entity, looking for new molecular entities, new drugs. And for some reason, I was like, you think they're just going to sit there with all that money they just got from COVID and all those checks that all the world's governments sent to them, and that's just sitting in a war chest, and these guys are just going to sit back and they're going to let, Lilly and Novartis and, who else is going to be probably in that race? Sanofi? No. Who else am I thinking of? Novo Nordisk. You think they're just going to sit back and let those guys just take over the NASH and the GLP-1s and all that stuff? No. No. They're gonna buy something. And I thought Viking. Now, there's serious bias there. Viking has been one of my favorites since like 2017 when they were $1.40. And that was when the first like NASH, I think it was that year or the following year, they had a big push up to like the 20s, following a big NASH payout, big NASH data, which was early. It was still really early. And then who else was in there? Madrigal, and there might have been one more. Galt, maybe. Galactus Therapeutics. But anyway, so I'm not surprised because Vikings not only, has one or two really good products. Like they, as a company, they're a metabolic company. Endocrine, metabolic. Let's go to their pipeline real quick. But this is what you would think, the dual GLP-1, they're going to want to go after that. That's what, everybody's talking about, Wegovy and all those. But Ozempic would be another one, right? So, but this is kind of the larger opportunity in many ways because, ultimately these guys, these two, plus they have the oral option for it, will hopefully prevent the need for this guy, right? To actually get the VK2809. But this is really far along, and it's not, although different, it differentiates from the other big NASH. They're probably, I think so far, have best-in-class data for NASH. So Madrigal is a little bit ahead of them in terms of NASH. So they'll get the first mover. But I think the VK28 is not that far, VK209 is not that far behind. And on top of that, should be better. And then if they can get that onto the market, and then they have these GLP-1s with an oral GLP-1, which everybody loves a pill over a shot, this is money. So that's something to consider. We can probably get into some other... Now, well, I think the question was where would I value them? It's kind of hard because let's go back. You're looking at... well, actually, they have a... Actually, let's read here. So, like, $3 billion, right? I was going to say, like, 5. That seems pretty steep. But, again, going back to all these drugs here, these will combat each other. This one will just, cannibalize this one if they really do get an oral version, right? But... And it'll probably, exactly. It'll probably go beyond obesity, but but they'll have at least 2 products, and XALD, not a huge market, but these two separately could be billion-dollar products. Some of the largest indications in the world are, due to heart and all the big chronic illnesses that we have from sedentary lifestyles and obesity. Well, these two can handle those, or help handle them. So where was I going with that? Oh yeah, let's go back to Viking and let's just check out their, because they're what, over $1 billion, $2 billion. So yeah, I would think probably double it. So like maybe around $50 a share. Think that's fair. So yeah, here's the first spike. Yeah, so it was going towards the end, October, this is 2018. But I remember getting it like 141 in this area, and then it just went on a solid run. That reminds me, they have a few other drugs that they have the ownership of, which is they didn't list in there. Interesting. They have a few other drugs that are not listed in this development, and they were in the clinic. So maybe I missed that they ceased those for the moment. So, yeah, you can see that. Now, the timing of this is not interesting. I need to know. I have to go digging for the rumors on these things, but sometimes you get a ticker that's getting really close to its previous high, and then some rumor gets out there that, you know, oh, there's somebody up looking for it, and there's going to be a buyout, and it kind of pops it to new highs. And look, I mean, like right here, these guys, Barron says, you know, let's a few things they should be looking at. Yeah, there's Madrigal right here, VKTX. So it makes sense. So I don't know if it's just because, hey, there's been enough rumors on the street that this is where people are going. I haven't, you know, BPMC I've been looking at. Yeah. Yeah. Let's just take a look real quick. I want to see where that chart's at. Yeah. I think it's down, is it not? Yeah. If I was going to say it was over 100 at one point. It's setting up. 1, 2. Let's just do this real quick. Not cheap, but not crazy. Next, the few other things. So anyway, I'm probably at the 5 billion because where they're at, and they should have best in class for most of these, or near it, at least very competitive. So I would go with the 5 billion, which I think is fair if they can really get everything across the finish line. Now, maybe it is like a 3.5, 4 billion, and you know that would be kind of disappointing. And I think maybe Viking would kind of turn that one down. I mean, 5 billion seems fair for where they're at. Like, they're not ultra deep into development, but yet at the same time, you know, they're kind of the next. They're going to be one of the first for NASH, but then they're also one of the like next for GLP-1s. Now, the other one that you have to consider is Altimmune. So I'd be interested to see how this pops maybe tomorrow. Man, I haven't done an update on that. Maybe I should. This is another one that I had at $1. Actually, yeah, well, was it? No. Oh, that's because they did the reset. Yeah, so this is after the reverse stock split. And this has been diluted into nothing. Yeah, with Roche going after Carmot, that's There's no way Pfizer just is going to sit back and be like, yeah, you guys can take that whole entire new segment of healthcare all for yourself. Pfizer's going to go get the best, and they're going to pay for it. They're going to take all that taxpayer COVID money, and they're going to buy Viking. Makes sense. Now, beginning of the year, probably want, I mean, they might now. Yeah, they wait after the first month. Maybe they wait until Q2 to get that done. Or maybe they want to get it done in the first part of the year. We'll see. Anything else to cover? I was going to do Pfizer in general. Kind of alluding to earlier that, you know, they're at a point where, you know, they just bring in Seagen, right? And look at Seagen's deal, right? That's massive. Oy. What was it? There was something in here. But like this is the concern for them, right? Like how much is Paxlovid? How much is Comirnaty? I can't never say it. Their COVID-19 vaccine. How long is that going to take for? I mean, that declined 6, and this you know, you're losing 11.1 year over year. Now, here's the thing. You know, if you're still pulling in $1 billion or a couple $1 billion a quarter from a drug that didn't exist 4 or 5 years ago, I mean, should the market be just punishing Pfizer this much? I mean, it's not like these are. I mean, now they got cash for it, but now it's a commercial. You know, they're getting paid commercially. It's not a government, you know, contracts. Like they're getting the margins are much better now. So if this is still a billion-dollar vaccine, multi-billion-dollar vaccine and antiviral that they're getting, that was basically entire taxpayer paid for it, and they got a whole bunch of cash, and they're still getting money for it. Isn't this like the ultimate, like, we just got away with, you know, robbery type of situation where they're still able to collect billions and billions of dollars in revenue from these, you know, products that wasn't even a thing for them 4 or 5 years ago, 4 years ago. Crazy. Eliquis is grinding up. Ibrance is down. It is they say it's competitive. Like Ibrance is definitely not the best anymore. Prevnar is still doing well. It's down 7%, but Prevnar is still a solid product for them. Still pulling in $58.5 billion. Yes, huge cut. But it's not like Pfizer was really overvalued. Like, it's not like they were trading at a massive premium when they were bringing in all that money. So for them to lose more than 50% of their, you know, the share price, massive cut for, you know, yes, they're losing some revenue, but nobody thought that it was going to be indefinite. I mean, a lot of people thought it was just going to be like a one and done thing. But they got, an extra 2 years out of it, basically, right? So, again, they've got plenty of cash to go out and get the Vikings and the Seagens. So they're going. Oh, a new PARP inhibitor for them? Oh. Never mind. No, it is. Nice. I mean, see, that's the thing. They already have something going on here. But they don't. They only have. They don't have a dual. They have a GLP-1, but they don't have a dual GLP-1. Oh yeah, their Lyme disease vaccine candidate. That'd be interesting to get done. All right, so that was my big thing for tonight is Pfizer. We got Merck tomorrow. I'm looking at wondering how their COVID. I forget what the name of that one is. Their COVID antiviral. I forget what the name of that thing was. Oh yeah, these are some of these guys that write stuff. Like they write these articles and they don't say anything. It doesn't say anything. It's just like stuff you can go read yourself. They're like an almost compiler of information, but the takes and the analysis is always so like it's all canned like corporate like boilerplate speak. It's nothing that's like you're not the person's not talking. They're just trying to write something down for you to read, but not there. You don't hear what they're saying. They're not giving you you're not hearing them give you a good reason why to buy or sell or watch, or even a game plan these guys have. They'll just say, "Yeah, it looks good. It's a buy. It's pretty cheap. It's a buy." But then, like, how, when, how do you do these things? What numbers are you looking at? Because like, is it cheap right now, or is it maybe like, how cheap can it get? That's what you want to look for, right? When you're reading something, maybe not just detailed instructions of what to do step by step, but just like, what is a person looking at that makes them come to that conclusion besides just spreadsheets and valuations and models. And I mean, I rely on that stuff too extensively, but the ability to explain to people what's the next step is, I think, the most important thing. Like when the timing, the where, the when, all that is so important, and the process, right? So, what we tend to do, what is our strategy at Compounding Healthcare? It is all about taking profits from very speculative names. You take the profits, you de-risk the position, you leave a little remainder just in case it actually goes someplace, or you use it to rebuild a core position later on just in case it comes back in play in some way. And then you take the profits and you roll them over to bioreactor. You do the same thing with the growth stocks. And then after that, you go to the healthy dividends. And finally, these things, that cash that has been compounded from a speculative to a growth, is finally ending up in the cheap Pfizer for it to be compounded for years with a nice solid 6-7% yield. It's in Pfizer. It's in RPRX. It's in these names that they're not going anywhere. And if they are going anywhere, then the whole market is useless. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, There's so many names in healthcare that if there's something really, really like the the company's done, there's nothing left, then the world has come to an end. That's the type of stuff you're looking at when, like CVS really goes out, or J&J really goes out, or Merck or Pfizer, RPRX or Bristol Myers Squibb. Like, what does the world look like if we don't need any of those? It's all over. The market's done. So that's not happening. So again, I'm not saying like you have to go in there and just blindly invest in these things, but having a good having a good game plan and where and when you're going to do it. Yeah, you can take advantage of Pfizer being. I mean, let's look at Pfizer. Look at the valuations right now. I know I did this morning on that one, but she came up today, but she's sitting at $27 per share. And it's all because there's growth and momentum, and these things are not good. Right? That's telling these algorithms that you don't have to buy it. And so if none of the big guys are really buying, the market makers are going to have to sell it. The algos are going to grind the sucker down. But there's people looking at this saying 6.22, dirt cheap. Let that sit there. Like, what does this tell us? Let's just take a look. It's just giant block quotes all over the place. Okay, so they at least tell you what their position, what they're gonna do. But is it all just because it's a cheap yield, and then that they have potential for growth? Yikes. Good points. I'll give these guys a plus. But at least those guys talk about Sam and Robert and Sam there and talk about what they're doing. Some of these other guys just write garbage. All right. Anything else to throw in here? No, that was basically it. Just wanted to go over Pfizer, talk about Merck for tomorrow. Be prepared for that one. Let's go back to... Anything else? Trending news. I've never even seen this before. I should probably do that. I guess I'll take a look. And that, for example, look at they're saying the quant buys, yeah, because it's just all massive momentum right here in all these names. Oh yeah, how you doing, YMAB? That's interesting. On our, yeah, maybe I have to take a look at YMAB here. It's in our watch lists here. Wow, she was down to $2. Oh, that's right. Hold on. Didn't they get? Yeah, they didn't get the. I have to go back and look at this. I think they didn't get their approval. I have to take a look at this guy. It's a shame if I just missed it. It was really down to like $2. I didn't do anything on it. But this would also probably be a good time for the jump in too, right? I mean, maybe in here when it's basing out around 5 would have been another good shot, but this is where you know, it's starting to pop above here. It'll run into resistance, you know, $14, but maybe we can get a retest of like 9. So I'm gonna keep an eye on this. I'll move it higher up, and maybe I'll do a note on this sometime soon. All right, I'm gonna end it there. For tomorrow, I'm still on the Pfizer and, well, obviously Merck in the morning. Take a look at that when that comes out, and then RPRX. Still looking at ESPR. Still looking at Agents. Still looking at RIGL. Anybody else? Agent, RIGL, ESPR. Somebody else in there. I can't think of it, but several names that were on the watch list today. I'll probably look at it tomorrow. Anyway, so I'll be up bright and early. I'll probably get a stream going relatively early in the morning. So it's, what would that be, like maybe 7 o'clock? No, probably more like 7:30 probably, for a couple hours before we get to the bell. Yep, so that's our prep for tomorrow. Be prepared, and have a good night, and stay healthy.